Hey everybody, it's Matt from the house, and I'm here with Tony from Never Summer, and we're going to run you through the Freeride ladder of Never Summer boards for the 21-22 season. Let's check these out. Okay, so first up, we've got the Harpoon coming in at 590, part of the Shaper series. This thing's a pretty rad board, so it looks like a PAL board, but it's actually super, super versatile. So what we got going on in this bad lad?
Well, the whole Shaper series is Freeride, kind of stemmed from that art of the turn. We put a wider nose than tail. We taper every one of these boards in this section of the lineup. And what we also do is the Shaper series features our Fusion profile. It's got the original rocker camber, which is a mellow camber pocket, a little bit longer section of rocker in between your feet, and it has a camber section in the tail of the board that's a little bit more aggressive. It's stiffer, which is going to give you power in and out of turns. So it's relaxed feel getting into turns, power out of them. Stiff tail allows that board to sink a little bit in the powder, keep your nose afloat. Basically just the versatility and all mountain riding.
Cool. And the other thing that's pretty cool about this board that we need to talk about is that from contact point to contact point, this board is actually closer to a twin than you would think. So if you're not riding in the POW and you even want to take this thing, even in the park, it's pretty insane how well this thing rides, even riding switch too.
Absolutely, and he made a good point there with contact point to contact point. That's your effective edge. And if you see about where my thumb is, the rest of that board is off of the snow unless you're riding in powder. So on hard pack, like you said, it rides short. It's a very nimble board, easy to maneuver through trees. However, you get the stability of a bigger board, but because that effective edge length is a little tighter, it rides short.
Cool, so if you're the guy that wants a board that can rule in the powder, but you like to spend a lot of time in the park too, this board is a pretty cool quiver killer.
Yeah, it's fun in the park, really good for all mountain, and then when you do get it in the powder, it just really shines.
Okay, so next up, we've got the ProtoFR, which this thing is a pretty cool board. We're jumping up to 620 on this one, and what are we getting for that? A couple extra bucks in this one?
Well, you get all of our years and years of design and engineering first and foremost, because we put all of our new tech into the Proto line. So it's going to get extra carbon into this board. It's got the Woo-Boo core with bamboo in it, and we put additional elastomer stringers. So you have additional carbon X on the board. You have lengthwise carbon strips. We made the right spots rigid and kept the flex spots where you need them. The biggest improvement here that we made for this particular board is adding our triple camber. So you have camber underneath your back foot, a little bit of camber right here in the center of the board, and then camber here. And what that's doing is, instead of having the natural press point of rocker in the middle of the board, now you have a section of camber which is creating resistance when you flex it. So as you bend into a turn, it's going to want to kick you back out of it. And another thing that it did by creating the additional section of camber is we added a contact point along the edge. So we have your contact point up on your tip and tail, 1 and 2. The shallow radiuses of our Vario side cut land underneath your toes or heels, depending on which edge you're on. And that little section of camber in between the feet now adds a contact point between there. So two more coming at you. So 6 contact points per side. Edge hold on this board is better than anything I've ever ridden in my life. And stability at high speeds, I broke my land speed record. So as far as high speed stability, big mountain riding, hard charging carbon, this is it. This is our premier big mountain hard charging board.
Okay, so no price jump to the big gun from the ProtoFR, but we have a very different board than the ProtoFR. Yeah. What do we got going on in the big gun here?
Well, sometimes, you got those big days. You got to bring out the big gun. You can tell just by looking at this thing, a lot of this material off of this board is off the snow when you're riding hard pack. So on groomers and hard pack, it rides a little bit short. Effective edge length on this board comparatively to the other boards in the line is fairly short. So it's going to ride nimble for being such a big stick. Still carves great, rides groomers great. You can see through the base here and see some of the materials and some of the carbon fiber configuration. You got a V in the tail, basically pushing energy toward your contact points, keeping the torsional rigidity stiff in those areas. And up towards the front, we do this in most of our boards. You run carbon towards the contact point to keep that area of the board a little stiff. And what you got is a monster machine for those big days. This thing floats like a dream. Still versatile. So you got to get out of the powder and get back to the lift and ride some groomers. It's still got to be super fun. We have a taper, so it's got a wider nose than tail. Really likes to carve. It's got the fusion profile, so a relaxed cambered area in here. A little bit stiffer camber area in the tail for powering out of the turns. An extended length of rocker, make it float in the pow. Once you weight the board and stand on it on hard pack, you're engaging your contact point, so you're going to get that stability at high speeds.
Cool, so this is, again, a big board for big ride. What's the smallest size this comes in?
165,
That's the smallest. So if you like big boards and you like to go fast and float big, this is definitely a board for you. Okay, next up is the Swift. I've actually ridden one of these things, and it's a super fun board. And I think one thing I was really impressed with this board is that it was a pow day, and then the sun came out, things got tracked out, and then I just kept riding it all day long, and it actually was a pretty versatile board for the rest of the mountain as well. But definitely a little bit more on the Freeride side of things.
Absolutely.
Jumping up a couple extra bucks for the big gun, but what do we got going on in this thing?
Well, this Swift is what kind of started it all for us in our Shaper series. We wanted a true pow board, so we put the pointed nose, tip protectors, aluminum on the tip. We put a swallowtail on it, allows it to sink the tail down. Also aluminum tail protectors there. And you know, it doesn't look like it's super versatile, and riding it switch looks a little funny. Again, contact point to contact point, the effective ledge length is very short. So it rides short and you get all the float and material, the surface area. Carving this thing is a dream. Laying down turns, stability at high speeds. And you got a soft nose, wants it to float, stiff rigid tail that's kind of short, allows you to sink it, keeps the note afloat. You have a very hard time trying to sink the nose in there.
So you don't have to stand back on it all day long. You kind of stand a little more centered.
You just set up wherever you like to ride.
No
and that's
leg
just
burn.
it. No leg burn.
No
Center
leg
your
burn.
weight of gravity and don't have to be done at lunchtime. But again, I got to stress the versatility. You can go hit park laps. I mean, it's buttery, it's playful. You can ride a switch.
That's 100% true. I always said, like, if it was a day and this was the only board I could ride, but there was no pow, this wouldn't be the board I'd choose. But if this is the only thing I had to ride, I wouldn't be bummed about it.
Yeah, and again, this birthed the rest of our Shaper series. If you want that true traditional pow, pointed nose, swallowtail, the Swift is your choice here.
Okay, well, thanks for checking out the Freeride ladder of the 21-22 Never Summer series. And if you got any questions about any of the stuff that we talked about in the video, or even maybe something we didn't talk about, leave some comments down below. We're on there every single day trying to answer your questions. We want to make sure we not only get you into a rad product, but most importantly, we want to make sure that it's going to fit you and your riding style. Also, make sure to like, subscribe, and definitely get that bell on too so you can find out when all the new videos drop. And yeah, whether you need a board that just rides pow all day long or something that's a little bit more versatile, check out some of the Freeride series from Never Summer and get out and ride, because any day of riding is a good day of riding.